4D illusion chess, how to play. The rules are the same as regular chess except for these changes. For a refresher of those rules, check out this video. The object of the game is to capture your opponent's king. There is no check or checkmate. Lay out the board long ways between the two players. Each space on the board is considered a square regardless of its perceived shape. On your second row, set up 9 pawns like so. On your first row, set up rook, knight, bishop, king, bishop, knight, rook. On your bottommost bonus square, place your queen. Squares along the edges of the board are not diagonally connected to each other. Squares not on the edge of the board are only diagonally connected to the corners of adjacent squares that are also not orthogonally adjacent to it. In certain locations, this results in preventing further diagonal movement in a specific direction, while in other cases, it allows for multiple diagonal movement options. Movement across multiple squares must always be in a continuous straight line, though the perception of that line may curve. A straight line is considered moving across a square to the opposite line or corner from where you entered. Moves strung together this way are considered straight, though they may curve across the board. Colored squares are grouped into sets of 9, with each set having a matching colored set on the other side of the board, making a pair. Each colored set is conjoined with its pair so that the two sets are considered a single set of 9 squares. Any piece to occupy a colored square actually occupies both colored squares in the same pair simultaneously. Use the board markers to identify the correct orientation of the sets and add an extra identical piece marker to the square of the other set to indicate this. A piece beginning its turn on a colored square can move from either of its conjoined locations on the board. In a single move, a piece may travel through colored squares like it traditionally would, or it may travel through a colored square's conjoined location and continue in the same relative direction it was traveling. You may not perform an infinite move, nor return to the space that you started on. When a piece on a colored square is captured, remove both copies of it from the board. Pawns always move orthogonally forward towards their opponent's side of the board. If a diagonal space is directly in front of it, then it may travel to either of the two orthogonally forward spaces or capture forward, right, or left. En passant is allowed like normal. Pawns promote like normal when reaching any of their opponent's higher rank starting positions. Castling is allowed like normal by moving the king 2 spaces towards the rook, then the rook to the other side. You may castle even if your king is threatened, and you may castle through a threatened space. Kings may move to a threatened space. The first player to capture their opponent's king wins.